was selected by the coach just over a week ago, and now Coach Hugo joins us in studio as we bring you the Bafana Bafana squad that will face Guinea as well as the world champions in the French national team. Welcome to it. Sanamgala nonke kwindawo ngendawo la nhleli khona kama ngu-Andile Ncube ngudlali kumahamba yedwa manginazisi ukuthi ngihleli nobani kodwa ke singakayi lapho ngicela ukubonisa ukuthi besenzani. What is it that we've all gathered for? It's a big game. It's Bafana Bafana's biggest game since 2013, 2014 perhaps, when you can go to the games we played against Spain as well as Brazil. Since then, Bafana Bafana has not had competition at this level. Tabiso will tell you a little bit later that no, they played Paraguay, but Tabiso Paraguay, so we'll break down the stats as far as the team that the coach will be sharing with us. Coach Hugo is also in the studio talking to us about his latest squad to be announced to play those two crucial friendlies. Welcome to it, gents. Let me start by welcoming you first, Tabiso. It's good to have you with us for the first time. Good news, though. You're here because you're not going to be here with us. You're going to be traveling with the team.
Yes, I'm looking forward to traveling with the team, Andile. It's been a while since Bafana Bafana played top opposition, rather, and they're playing France now. Even the game against Guinea will be overseas in Belgium. So looking forward to an interesting trip here and finding out from the coach what he wants to do. I think the last match we played against overseas opposition, besides on the continent, was Paraguay back in 2018.
Have you been to Belgium?
Not yet. It'll be the first time.
I'll speak to the coach for you. He'll give you some tips on how to walk around Belgium. Pumuzo Manenza, of course, joins us here as well. Pumuzo, the exciting thing about this is we're seeing a differentiator from when the coach started to where he's traveling to now. What is the one thing you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the announcement of the team. I see there's new faces in the team. I see that there's a little bit of experienced players in the teams. There's players that are a little bit older. When the coach came here, he really promised to drop the age of the Bafana Bafana team. There might be one or two players that are over 30. He has got his reasons. I'm going to ask him the questions. I'm going to ask him, Coach, why is a 30-year-old, why is a 32-year-old in the squad? But I'm looking forward to it. And I think the feeling in South Africa, we feeling hard done by because of the decision that was taken by FIFA. We're still feeling hard done by that decision. But we can see this project that the coach is building, we can see it's growing. Wherever we left it as the country, we were happy. We want him to continue with the journey.
All right, so we're going to go to the coach in just a few. I just want to show you the games, of course, that we're going to be talking about. Here it is. It's Bafana Bafana, the take on Guinea. This match will be live from Belgium. It's an international friendly. Tell me about Guinea a little bit, Tabiso.
Well, Guinea was at AFCON. I think they had a decent AFCON, losing 1-0 to the Gambia in the last 16. There were 2 red cards in that game. But they've got some top players who play all over Europe. You know, the likes of Naby Keita, who is at Liverpool. They've got Kamara also. And they've got some youngsters also who are really doing well. And there's a youngster on loan at Valencia now. He was also with RB Leipzig. So they've got a solid team, Guinea, here. And it will be an interesting game, an intriguing game, actually, between Guinea and Bafana Bafana.
It's live on SABC Sport on DTT channel, SABC 3, Open View 124 as well. It's Bafana Bafana take on Guinea Friday, the 25th of March. That kickoff is at 7 o'clock. But that's not the only game. Tabiso, I know you can't wait to be in the stadium to watch this. We are away in France on Tuesday, the 29th of March at 10 o'clock. It's Bafana Bafana that take on the French national team, number 3 in the world and the world champions.
Yes, that match will be taking place in Lille. The last time Bafana played France was at the 2010 World Cup, which Bafana actually won that game by 2-1, if you remember. But a lot was happening in the camp of France at the time, and I'm sure they even forgotten that match. So it's going to be an interesting game. We've got some affinity with France, having played them in the 1998 World Cup. Of course, we know what happened there in that opening match, the 3-0. So it's always an exciting match between Bafana and France, and let's see which squad they will bring for this one.
All right, I think this one is going to have a lot of eyeballs on it. Of course, it's going to be live on SABC Sport on DTT channel, SABC 1 and on Open View 124. The kickoff is a late 10 o'clock, but worth it. With that being said, our guest of honor, he's arrived, he's in the studio, Coach Hugo. Thank you so much for joining us and honoring us again, Coach, to come and sit with us. Welcome. It's been a while. What have you been up to?
I was 2 months in Belgium after 4 months being in South Africa, so I think it was time to go home for Christmas and New Year. So I spent a fantastic time with the family, and was back beginning of February, 2nd or the 3rd February. I was back in South Africa, and since then I saw again a lot of games.
Yeah.
And I was working on to have a good team in June, because then AFCON starts again, qualifies for AFCON. Yeah. So we have to be ready for that.
Let's reflect a little bit, Coach, since the last time we saw you, of course. It has to go back to that Ghana match. You were here, we're building up to that game. That game happened, we haven't seen you since. What are your reflections on that?
Yes, first of all, deception. Like everyone, I think. We were so close. Just a draw was enough. But I saw in that game that the way Ghana treated us from the beginning of the game, very aggressive, and okay, very good from them side, but we didn't have an answer on that. And okay, we got a stupid goal with the stupid referee, but also the rest we saw. We had to be stronger, and therefore after that game we make an evaluation of the 6 games we played, and therefore also the selection I have now is because we saw then that we needed maybe something more to be better.
And we're looking at some of those footages, of course. Heartbreaking for many South Africans to watch this here, Pumuzo. I was in studio with you. I remember reflecting on this here. 1-0 there, the captain on the day makes it. I mean, a man that went on to say so much after that. This match here is aged in South African hurting history.
Yeah, it was not a penalty to start off, Andile. It was not a penalty at all. We thought FIFA would make the correct decision, but the boys tried. They edged forward. Pesitao in that moment that you're seeing them, I thought he was going to rise up and be that big player, our top player. Our most expensive player in the Bafana team. I thought he was going to rise up and really lift the game. It was unfortunate. We went on to lose this game, and it was just unfortunate. One of the best players in the qualifying campaign, I thought Rashid Doriak was very unlucky to be the one that conceded the penalty, because if you ask me now, the first defender I would pick when I pick a Bafana team, I'll pick Rashid Doriak, and it was unfortunate that he was the one that was adjudged to have fouled the player in that moment, and there was no foul.
Yeah, and on that note, I mean, that defense has been great. That penalty was one of 2 goals that this team has conceded in these qualifiers. The other one was Kebede against Ethiopia, so it shows you how good that partnership has been. Diruk as well as Sianda Kudu also next to him. So there is a lot of positives to take actually from this campaign if you look at it that way.
Well, I mean, we move on now from that. We look forward. And Coach, we have you here. You're coming to announce a team. We've got 2 big games coming up. What is the new goal? What is the new mandate for the coach?
Yes, it's also what we saw after the qualifiers for the World Cup. We need stronger opponents. I'm told that in the past the friendly games of South Africa were always against teams like Botswana and
Mozambique.
So I'm sorry, and all respect for Botswana, but you can learn nothing in those games because you are the better team and you win and everybody's happy. So now we have 2 games. World champion, I don't have to explain that. Yeah. Guinea, who played a very good AFCON. As you said, very good players, all playing in Europe. So it will be a tough game also, and from those games you can learn a lot. You can learn a lot. And the result is not important. If we lose 2 times, okay. But what we see and what we can evaluate after those games is 10 times more than if we play against Botswana or whatever. So you see immediately what players are, how good they are. Can we use them for the next qualifiers? But then no excuse anymore. We have to go to Ivory Coast next year. This is for sure. So we have to be prepared, prepared, and therefore those games.
Coach, you say that, and it's something that all South Africans would love to see. They're tired of sitting on the benches and watching other teams playing in big competitions. The squad that you've picked now is based on the coach doing what? Going to games to watch every local game, keeping track of overseas players. What has the coach been doing as far as watching South African players across the board, across the world?
Yeah, first of all, every week I'm somewhere in the stadium and look at the games. At the other side we have Y-Scout, so it's a site on internet. You can see every game in the world, every game. So we can see the games of players who are playing abroad. So and you spend a lot of time in watching games, and not only me, also Chedo and Helman are doing it. So we are much better prepared now than 6-7 months ago. I just have to ask that time at Helman, is that a good player? Helman, is that a good player? Now I know it for myself, and I can see it also. If I don't know a player, I'm going to see. So it's a lot of work, but it's worth to do it. So now I have a very good view on the league here in South Africa, what I didn't have in September. I had to make a selection of players I didn't know. So this is an advantage for me now. But after those games for qualifiers, we saw what we needed. What do we need now to be better? And therefore, in the selection, there are some new players that I want to see, and I have the opportunity now to see and to watch, whatever the result is. You can't do that in June. Then you can lose the game and things are finished. So now you lose against France, you lose against Guinea. Okay, but it can be very worthwhile for us to see, okay, this one and this one and this one. Those guys we need, and they will improve the quality of the game, of the team.
And you always speak about how opposition is important. Playing high-level opposition is important. You've got Sundowns, you've got Amazulu, you've got Orlando Pirates that are playing in CAF competitions, in the Champions League as well as the Confederations Cup. How important is that to you? How closely do you watch those three teams? Because they're playing at the highest level to competition that you've got to play in order to qualify for most of the competitions.
I'm very happy with the performances of those three clubs. Very happy. I saw the games of Orlando Pirates, I saw the game of Sundowns, also Amazulu. But if you take one game, and the same thing for Amazulu and for Orlando Pirates, but if you take the game Al Ali against Sundowns, it was a very good game. And the way Sundowns played was very good, high pressure. All the 90 minutes, good football, winning the good. So they did it again last Saturday. So you see that also those teams have advantage to play in such competitions. They can't improve themselves here in the league. I'm very sorry to say that, but they are dominating. Sundowns is coming on the pitch and they're winning the game, finished. So how can they improve? So they need stronger opponents, also Pirates, also Amazulu. So they will improve their quality in the game. And for me, as a Bafana Bafana coach, you have to be happy with that. So if we can, then with Bafana Bafana also playing games like we will do now at the end of the month, it's only an advantage for us.
So, Coach, we're speaking about the three teams that are playing in the CAF Champions League and also in the Confederations Cup. Does it now please you, because they're doing well at continental level, does it say our league in terms of comparing it to North Africa and to also West Africa? Would you say that the PSL is closing the gap, or we are competing with those countries?
I'm afraid not. I'm afraid not. It's not enough for South African football to have only those games. We need to have it also here in the competition. For Orlando Pirates, for Amazulu, for Sundowns, to mention those three teams, this competition has to be more stronger. They will be stronger, but also the other teams. And then your level goes up. And we have to work on it. Really, we have to work on it. It's one step we put already, that we are something in those competitions, Champions League, maybe Sundowns wins Champions League. It's possible. Okay, also Mazulu and Pirates, they will go on, certainly Pirates and Sundowns, hopefully have Amazulu also. So when they go to the next stage, again, something more. But then when this is finished and they come again here, then it's too easy for them. So this is what we need. We have to improve the quality and the level of South African competition.
Wow. That's the coach there, Coach Hugo Bruce, of course, who's joined us for the Bafana Bafana squad announcement. 2 games coming up, both of them live on SABC and SABC Sport, bringing to those proudly. It is France, which is the second game. They're the world champions. Coach, speaking of France, I know you've got your connections out there. I know you've put your feelers out there. How did these two matches happen? How did we get such high-level competition? Were you involved in how we got these teams to play us?
Yes, after the qualifiers for World Cup, we think about it and what we have to do now in March, because there's a FIFA period, so we needed friendly games. And from the beginning, I said, don't play against Botswana. Don't play against. No, I want to have big teams now. And if we lose 2 times, we lose 2 times. But I need big teams.
Yeah.
So there was Ivory Coast, there was Burkina Faso. Then there came France. I didn't think
when you say
1
France,
second.
Coach, are we playing Pogba? Are we playing Mbappe? Are we playing Griezmann? Are we playing the first team?
I think 90%, 80-90% of the team will be there.
Okay.
But I'm sure that the coach will try some other players too, like we do. Because this is the opportunity for him in preparation for the World Cup in 6 months. And therefore he's playing against an African team. Because they will play also maybe on the World Cup against African teams. So for them it's an experience to see how African teams are playing. They're playing also against Ivory Coast, I think. So this is an African period for them. So, but they will play with strong team, and it's not only Mbappe, it's not only Griezmann, it's not only Kanté. There are many good players.
Oh, yeah.
They are World Cup. They are world champion. So for us, it's 1, maybe 2 levels higher than we are, but no problem. I'm very happy with it. We will learn a lot of it.
Well, let's learn together, Coach. Now we're going to hand over to Coach Hugo, of course, as he gives us his selected squad of 23 players from the previously selected preliminary squad. Then after that, we'll be able to sit down and discuss the players as they were. Coach, I'm going to now hand it over to you. You've got the list in front of you. South Africa's waiting to find out from you which of the players, 23 of them, have you selected to go to war?
Okay. So we start with the goalkeepers. So first we have Ronan Williams. We have Veli Motwa. And we have Bruce Vuma. Then we have the defenders. Sidney Moby, Kulisi Mudau, Terence Mashego, Laila Ke, Rushin De Ruyck, Xianda Xulu, Atenkosi Mkaba, and Konsinati Sibisi, and Bandile Shandu. And then we have the midfielders, Motobi Mvala, Tebogo Mokoena, Goodman Musalli, Tabang Monare, and Ethan Brooks. And at last, the strikers, Keegan Dolly, Lai Foster, Bongokulu Longwani, Evidence Magopa, Fagri Lake, and Percy Tau.
Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. It's your national team. I'm going to just read it out to you again. We're going to just start from the defenders again. I'll go from the goalkeepers, rather. I'll go through it. And then afterwards, of course, leave it up to the panel as we speak to the coaches and Tabiso as well as Pomozo about the national team. It's Bafana Bafana squad announcement as per Coach Hugo Bruce. 23 members to face Guinea as well as France. There, both matches happening in Europe. The first one in Belgium and the second one we go to France for that one there. Goalkeepers. Ronan Williams of SuperSport United, Veli Motra of Amazulu, Bruce Vuma of Kaizer Chiefs are your 3 selected goalkeepers. We now move to the defenders. You've got from Sekhukhune United, Sidney Moby, from Sundowns, Kulise Mudau, from Cape Town City, Terence Mashego, from Mamelodi Sundowns, we've got Laila K. We'll wait for the graphics there just to catch up with what I'm saying. But what you're seeing there is the 3 goalkeepers, of course, that have been chosen. There it is again, as you see the players. Mudau there, excuse that one there. Strish spelling sakho yebo nje wawungakhetha esikoleni. It's Muda with a U missing in that one there. Russian Deruk there, of course, goes on there as well. You heard Phumuza Manenze speaking about Russian Deruk of Mamelodi Sundowns. Siyanda Xulu, Sitini, unattached to Siyanda Xulu at the moment, isn't it? And Natenkosi Mkaba there also making the team from Stellenbosch FC. Golden Arrows is Kosinati Sibis as well as Orlando Pirates' Bandile Shandu making the defenders list there. And then let's move on now to the midfielders as chosen by coach Hugo Bruce. These are the midfielders that have been chosen. From Mamelodi Sundowns, it's Mtobi Mvala. Also, his teammate at Sundowns, Teboho Mokoena. We move on to two players from Orlando Pirates, Goodman Musalli as well as Tabang Munare. From TS Galaxy, they might not be doing very well in the league, but this man right here, the coach has got faith in him. Ethan Brooks makes the team. Kaizer Chiefs' Keegan Dolly is in there as well. Those are your midfielders supreme that you're going to be seeing as part of Coach Hugo Bruce's team. Let's go to, of course, the striking force, the forwards chosen. Hey, Metro Matala, Dallas Amklina, Lyle Foster from Westerlo UFC, he makes it onto here. Hlongwane of Minnesota United out in the USA, he's in there as well. So, I mean, no traveling for Lyle Foster, he was already in Belgium. Then from Baroka FC, you've got Evidence Mahopa and the two players in South Africa based in Egypt at the moment, playing for Pyramid and Al Ahly respectively. It's Fakhri Leke as well as Percy Tau. That is your 23-member squad. Thank you so much for giving us that, Coach. Let's come back now. Phumuza Manenze, Manqale ngawe, your first thoughts when you see this 23?
I'll go department by department. And I think when I look at the goalkeeping department, our number one, Ronan Williams, he selects himself. He's the captain of the team. You're looking at a man that has 9 clean sheets in all competitions, in all competitions in South Africa. Then you go to the second choice goalkeeper, which is Veli Motwa. He has got 11 clean sheets. Also very competitive goalkeeper. But the third choice is Bruce Vuma. And I know everyone at home is standing up asking me, why Bruce Vuma? My explanation for Bruce Vuma: Mamelodi Sundowns, Onyango, and also Kennedy Mini, they're foreigners. Second on the log is Royal AM. It's Nyame, he's a foreigner. Orlando Pirates, it's a foreigner in goals. Supersport, yes, we do have Ronan Williams in the national team. There is not a lot of options for the coach to get a third choice goalkeeper. When you're looking at the average of the goalkeepers that the coach have selected, it's 29 years. Bruce Vuma drops that average age because he's 26. He might have last played in September. That is Bruce Vuma for Kaizer Chiefs. But when you're looking at other teams who are their goalkeepers, coach does not have a lot of options, because when he has to look, he has to go to Undlovu at Marumo Gallant, they're number 10. He has only played 4 games. If you leave there, you go to Golden Arrows, they're number 11. So that's the options that the coach does not have a lot of options.
Let me perhaps play the devil's advocate here. Then I asked the coach, and I said, Coach, where did you see Bruce Vuma then? If you're saying to me, here's a man that hasn't been played, he's third choice, second choice sometimes, depending on where Kaizer Chiefs are, then the selection...
But let's not forget that Bruce Vuma has been part of the journey. Bruce Vuma was selected by the coach from the start. He has been a member of this Bafana Bafana team. He has been in camp. He has been training with this Bafana team. So the coach knows him well. It's not a player that is appearing for the first time.
Ladies and gentlemen, that tells you last night in the hotel, Phumuza and the coach sitting down and getting all the answers. But let's hear it from the coach himself. Coach, it's going to be one of those that raises the eyebrows all the time to say a player that doesn't play in his team, you know, sometimes on the bench, sometimes not there, hasn't played in a long time. What does the coach base the selection of a Bruce Vuma on?
Well, I'm happy that he came here with statistics, and it's a problem.
Yeah.
That is a big problem. If you go on every club in PSL, you find always a foreign keeper. And otherwise, the others, I think there are 5 South African goalkeepers, 5 or 6. All the rest is foreign. So in those 5, you have to choose 3 keepers. 3 good keepers, because it's Bafana Bafana. So it's very difficult. And because Bruce was with us from the beginning, so he's there again, but normally it should be Peterson. But he's injured.
Because he was part of your
No, he was
squad.
part of the squad.
Yeah.
But last week we got a phone call from the coach, and he said, "No, forget it, Peterson, he's out." So it was Ronwell, it was Mordwa,
Yeah.
it was Buma and Peterson. Those were the 4 keepers in the selection.
And Peterson, of course, has seen more
And
game
Peter's
time.
out.
Yeah. But he's injured now, so out. with
So we
Buma.
have a South African and he's out. No, but this is a problem. And also the age. You can't tell that Buma is a young one. He's 26. You're a young one, you're 22, 23. So, Ronwell 29, Veli 30.
31.
Hey, what's coming behind them?
How do we address this problem then, Coach? What would you suggest? Because we've seen, for example, in Egypt, at AFCON, Egypt had an injury crisis with the goalkeepers, but there was always somebody able to step in, because a few years ago, they came with a regulation that in their league, they cannot sign keepers outside of Egypt. They can only sign local goalkeepers.
It's not up to me to change rules. I'm a Bafana Bafana coach. I'm a foreigner. I'm a Belgian. I think here the league and SAFA has to talk and said, "Oh guys, what are we going to do to improve it? We have a problem there. Why Sundowns have 3 foreign keepers? Why do you need 3 foreign keepers? It's unbelievable. So why not the rule? Okay, only 2, finished. And then you can give chance on younger ones. But how can Bruce have a chance there? If there are still, you have the, how you call it, Guinea? The goalkeeper. And then the other 2 also foreigners, and then you have a South African. It's not so easy for the coach to put the foreigners out and to put the young one. And I'm happy that Bruce is now always on the bench.
Yeah.
But that's a problem for the coach too. Huh? I don't think that the coach asks 3 foreign keepers. I don't think that. But here they are. It's up to you now. But what can you do? Okay, change the rules. But it's not up to me to do that.
We need to move on now, Tubby, so let's come to you with the defenders. A very long list of defenders that the coach has chosen. Your thoughts?
Yes, I think the coach has also picked defenders that have also been on form. We've seen Khuriso Mudau. I'm sure the coach maybe wants to have another look at him closer. Lyle Leke, there's a lot that's been said about his inclusion or exclusion in previous squads. But I'm also excited and wanting to fight, and he's kept the partnership of Diruk and Kulu. For me, Kulu might not be playing, but maybe the coach can explain why he's kept faith in Sianda Kulu, because he's been a solid with Rushin Diruk, only conceding twice in those 6 qualifiers in the World Cups. I'm also excited by Atenkosin Taba. I've seen him at the Bidvest Academy before Vets was sold. He played there. He was under Ashley Makanya, actually, and he was one of the few players that was snapped up by Stellenbosch. He only made his debut at Stellenbosch in December against Sundowns, and he had a 100% tackle rate there. Interception, I think he was 80%, keeping some of the Shalulile and the Zwane at bay. So I think the coach also wants to have a closer look at him, and maybe the assistant coach Helman Mkalele could have told you about him, because he worked with Atengosi Mtaba in the under-20s. Atengosi was also in the under-17s also, so he's come through the junior national teams, so it's nice to see him also make the step up there.
Coach, speaking about continuity as far as your defense is concerned, Tabiso noting that you're keeping Sianda Kulu even, despite, I mean, you always speak about how great it is. You have to play at a high level, you have to play in high competition. Your explanation for that there?
It's a pity that Sianda has to leave his club.
Yeah.
Okay, there was, he phoned me immediately. He said, "Coach, I have bad news." Oh, I thought he was injured because he didn't play the weekend before.
Yeah.
I said, "No, I'm leaving." Leaving? Why? So there was a problem with the coach. There was a problem with extending his contract. And so he said, "I leave." I said, "Yes, but what are you going to do now?" So now I think it is not a problem for March. It's not a problem. But I hope that Sianda is having a team as soon as possible, that they can play and train again like he has to, because otherwise it can be a problem in June. Then he's already two months or maybe more without playing.
Yeah.
This is a problem then. So for this it was not a problem, and again I'm very happy with Sianda. He played very good games in the qualifiers for the World Cup. So Sianda and Diruk, were very good. Were one of the best in that team. So why shouldn't I leave now Sianda out of the squad? There's no reason to. But again, okay, let's hope that we will find a new club as soon as possible.
When you're looking at the defenders, Andile, the oldest defender is Sianda Tulu at 30. And you've got the youngest at 20, which is Mkaba. And I remember on the 4th of December when I was watching Mamelodi Sundowns play Stellenbosch and I saw this boy, Mkaba, and I'm like, what is Steve Barker doing? But I saw Shalulile close down. I saw Shalulile only having 2 attempts, which were half chances because of what Mkaba did. I love that we're now taking from under 17, under 20, we're graduating to Bafana Bafana. And that's what the coach has done in that department. When you look at the average age of the defenders, there are 9 defenders in this team. Now, when you look at the average age of defenders alone, you are looking at 26 years and a month. 26 years and a month. The age has dropped. The quality is still there. But the only question that I have for you, Coach, is, Coach, there is 3 left backs. Couldn't you choose, you look at Shandu, he's playing in the...
Right backs.
Right backs.
Yeah, right backs, three right backs.
Yeah.
Shandu at Pirates, 7 goals so far this season in all competition. He's playing in the Confederations Cup. Mudau has been excellent for Mamelodi Sundowns at right back. Mobi has done well for you during the qualifiers. Yeah. So I can see that you had a headache, you were taking tablets, you couldn't decide on 2, Coach.
9 players, 3 of them right backs, Coach.
I have not a headache. I don't take tablets. But okay, I know. But again, those are friendly games, and I can afford it to look some players. And I wanted to see Shandu because he made a very good period with Pirates. He played very good. So I have Moby, okay, Mudau. You mentioned it.
Yeah.
He plays very good, so I think he deserved it to be with us. But if I had to choose, then I had to leave Shandu. And I didn't want to do that. I want to see him with us, how good he is. And I can't do it because it's a friendly game. When it should be qualifiers, I would not do that. Certainly not. But now, okay, I can afford myself to do it and to take 9. And to see, okay, we will put Shandu and see how good he is. And therefore he's there. And therefore we have 9 defenders. But also again, Peter was also there. But he's injured also. So we couldn't take him. And therefore we took the young one.
And what are you looking for in that position, especially on the right, Coach? Are you looking for a wing back, goes up and down, who can cross or defend first?
I think when you have full backs who are very offensive and it doesn't weaken your team, then you're very strong. I saw Moby, okay, I don't want to talk about him, he proved it in the qualifiers, but when I see Mudau, very offensive, can score a goal. When I see Shandu, same thing. Okay, this can be an improvement for us to have those guys in the team, and maybe not to play. Take for example the match against Zimbabwe, the last match here against Zimbabwe. We lost maybe the qualifier for the playoffs in that game because we scored only 1 time.
Yeah,
true, Coach.
We were not dominating that team. It was a team, experimental team. There were very new players, new coach in Zimbabwe. So it was the moment, and we couldn't do it. So if we should have then those kind of players, then you can make pressure. You can improve your way of playing, and you can score maybe 2 or 3 goals. And then you go with the sunglasses together. Yeah, it's true.
Yes.
It's true. So again, when we do something, there's always something behind.
Yeah.
And now in this moment, in this period, in those friendly games, we can do more. Because okay, whatever the result is, but after those 2 games, I will tell you more.
Yeah.
I mean, it is one of those games where Coach saying it's a friendly. He wants to see as much as he can, and victory here doesn't really matter. The results don't matter. It's the learning that matters. If you're wondering what we're talking about, we've got Coach Hugo Bruce joining us in the studio. We're talking about the two games. They're going to be live on SABC platforms as well, of course, on SABC channel as well. SABC Sport, keeping our promise to giving you quality when it comes to the world of sport. And of course, we're delivering this year. It's Bafana Bafana versus Guinea. Tabiso told you about the caliber of the team that was at the Africa Cup of Nations. It's Friday, 25th of March at 7 o'clock, live on SABC Sport, on DTT channel, on SABC 3, and on OpenView 124. Also available, of course, on Telkom 1. You can live stream it on SABC Sport on Facebook as well. And then, after this, it's a big one. They're the world champions. They're the world number 3. They've got some of the best players in the world. I mean, you saw Mbappe go back against his teammate on the other side in Benzema. Those are the kind of players we're going to be seeing when Bafana Bafana take on France on Tuesday, 29th of March. Once again, it's all live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4, on SABC 1 and OpenView 124, as well as on Telkom 1, and live stream on SABC Sport Facebook. Keeping our promise to giving you the best when it comes to sport. We're talking about defenders. You've got a last one that you want to mention on defenders, because we've got to move on, of course, as the coach has announced his 23-member squad to take on those two countries. Before we move to the midfielders, your last one on defense?
No, not really. I think it was a good explanation, Coach, that you had given about the defenders and especially the right backs. The one question that I have is, did Hellman also tell you that some of those defenders, they are not only defenders. Some are utility players, they are versatile, like Shandu that you're speaking about. That's why you're seeing him scoring a lot of goals. He can also play as a winger. He can also play as a wing back. Also the same with Lakay from Mamelodi Sundowns. He can play in many different positions. But I'm happy that your assistant is giving you the correct information, Coach.
Therefore, he's there.
Well, with that being said, Coach, let's move on.
Imagine that he gives me wrong.
Busy playing golf. He loves his golf, by the way. That's how men of late. Let's move on now to our midfielders. And perhaps let me start with you here, Tabi. Yeah. So, any surprises for you here? Are you happy with what you're seeing? Mamelodi Sundowns, Orlando Pirates, as well as TS Galaxy and Kaizer Chiefs dominating this midfield team.
There'll always be surprises in midfield, especially because we're blessed with so many midfielders here in South Africa. Sometimes you think every kid wants to be in midfield. I once went to trials at SuperSport United, and most of the trialists wanted to play central midfield, and there were no left backs and no left central defenders and all of that. So that's why it's always congested. But what's interesting for me, Coach, is that Mutobi Mvala was not in your original squad, the preliminary squad, but he's made his way into this 23-man squad now. What's the thinking there? Does it go back to maybe what you were saying, that you want a bit more aggressivity or aggressive players? What you saw was lacking against Ghana, or you saw him against Al Ahly recently?
I think you mentioned the game of Ghana. I think we missed Mvala in that game. He's the one who's
physical.
Yeah, he's very, very aggressive. He recuperates ball. He's strong. So we missed him a little bit, and we saw also in some other games that our midfielder was a little bit light. So when I see the guys of Orlando Pirates playing, there is power. When I see, but normally it was Kotze, but he's injured. Okay, but when I see the midfield of Sundowns playing with Kotze, there is power. So we were looking a little bit for that. And therefore, again, I was very happy they did it so well in the Confederation and in Champions League. So I said, okay, this is the moment. Yeah. They will have their chance, and now it's up to them to prove and to show what I think they can show. And if it's like that, then our midfield will be more stronger than before.
And Coach, I mean, for the longest time when you got to South Africa, there were players that were being fed to you to say, why is this player not here? Why is this player not here? Rivaldo Kutsia was one of those players. You're mentioning him now, saying, he's injured. Yeah. Had he not been injured, is this a player now that you think would have been a part of your team?
In the beginning when I was here, he was playing in defense. And I didn't like him as a defender. Because I think he's a little bit too much football player. He's not the one who, in defense, is not the Rijk, for example, or is not Sianda, Sulu. So he's more, and then suddenly he didn't play anymore in Sundowns. And then he came back as a midfielder. and he's playing very good. And again, for me, those games in Champions League, there you see really how good the player is because he's higher level, and he did it very well, God say. And that's why I put him back in the team. And yeah, now unfortunately he's injured.
Himself injured, yeah.
He's injured.
Come on,
When I look at the midfielders, coach, I see a 32-year-old, and that is the oldest player in the squad, and a 21-year-old that is at TS Galaxy in Brooks.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, coach. There's nothing with the quality of Munari. He breaks play, he starts play, he's aggressive in that midfield. But he's 32, coach.
Yeah.
And we were talking about you dropping the age. Yes, when you look at the average age of midfielders, of the midfielders that you have selected, is 26.
Yeah.
He's still 26. But Munari is 32, coach. What did you see in him?
What I wanted to see from a midfielder who's playing on that position. Munari is also aggressive in his way of playing. Even he's not the big man, but he's very good in duel. He's also a player who can play football. His passes are good.
Yeah.
So this is what we need and what we're looking for on that position. And I said always when I came here, everybody said, yeah, younger players, but no, the older ones, you don't want them anymore. And I said always, the door is not closed for all the players.
Yeah.
But I start now with younger ones. And if one day we have two players with same quality, young and old, I always take the young one. But if the older is better, I will take the older one. I will not shoot myself. So, and therefore also, okay, Munari is 32, but I see him playing. So for me, it's not 32, and this age is not important. The age is not important.
Yeah.
It's important what he shows on the field.
Yeah.
And therefore he's again with us, and that's why I took now some older players also.
I mean, it's a conversation we've had with the coach since the first time when the SABC brought you these broadcasts where the coach comes and, of course, and honors us with announcing the squad and taking our questions, that the door's never been closed for all the players. It was just the younger players you're looking at. And you've said this a couple of times. If there's a young player and an older player of the same quality, he'll always go for the younger player. Tebiso?
I was just interested, Coach, to see Goodman Musalli is back in the squad. We know the last time you called up, he didn't pitch for camp. Does it mean everything is sorted now and you understand what happened last time?
I had a meeting with Goodman and with Coach Musalli, and it was a good meeting. So for me, the problem is closed, and there is. He had to be there already in October, but we don't talk about it anymore. So now I saw how he's playing it on the Pirates, and I was happy with his performances. So okay, it's up to him. It's up to him. You can't. I don't know the name of the word in English, but you can't go on because there is a problem. You have to solve a problem.
Yeah. Move on.
So we had the problem in October. Okay, and I was very angry on him, because I couldn't understand that the player did something like that. But okay, again, we talked, and for me, Goodman is a player, and for a moment a good player, and what happened in the past is the past, finished.
What I love about your midfield, coach, I always look at the numbers, I look at the stats and what the players have done. Goodman Musalli is coming from the Olympics with the under-23s. Tebogo Mokoena is coming from the Olympics with the under-23s. And Toby Mbala in 2016, he was at the Olympics. We have had a problem in the country where we groom these players, we take them to Olympics, from there they fall away. But this time, I see three very good midfielders that are still playing at the highest level, and they're playing their best games, and they're still there. I'm happy that the door was not shut on Goodman Musalli. Tebogo Mokoena is my favorite player in this midfield. You know, coach, when you have Tebogo Mokoena there, I won't give you a lot of problems, but I think the midfield is really balanced. I just had the question of 32, but he's not playing like a 32-year-old, as the coach says. That's why he's in the Bafana team.
If I can say something, there is also a lot of work to do in the following up of the players. I see, for example, that when you take U17, once you're not U17 anymore, and you're not good enough to be U20,
Out.
you're forgotten. Forgotten. They never come back. And it's the same with U20 and U23. There is no following up. So there are I'm sure that there are players who are lost because at that moment when you're 17, I'm a strong man and maybe you are like that. And maybe 2 years later you are, this is normal.
Physically, yeah.
It's normal. But we lose those players. They don't play games. Yeah, they play games if there is qualifier. Qualifier is finished, you're qualified, okay, you can go. You're not qualified, you have, manner of speaking, 2 years, no games.
Wow.
We have a lot of work to do on that. To have a following up of the players, and then you can have what we have now, like Mokoena, like Mbala, then you see them back in Bafana Bafana. And those who are not there, they are not good enough.
Good.
But you have the following up, and this is not happening here in South Africa.
The importance of continuity. But let's move on now. That's the midfield. We've broken down the defense. We've broken down the goalkeepers. Now, the goal scorers, the firepower that Bafana Bafana is going to be possessing, the strikers. Yeah, but before I go to Thabiso, Coach, Lyle Foster makes your team.
Yeah, Lyle Foster came to Belgium, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, as the biggest talent of South Africa.
Yeah.
And he played in Cercle Bruges, and he played very well, but the mentality was very bad, and therefore he has to leave Cercle Bruges.
What do you mean by mentality, Coach?
Yeah, he was not acting like a professional player.
Okay.
So, and therefore he had to leave Cercle Bruges. And then he played in Portugal. Not what I wanted to see from him. But I think he started thinking. And now he's playing in Westerlo in Belgium.
Yeah.
So we saw him playing when I was in Belgium. I know the coach very well. And I asked him, how is he? And he was very happy with him. Also on mentally. So a good mentality. And so he has changed. The talent he has, we agree.
No question.
Yeah. Okay. We give him a chance now. It's up to him to take the chance. And again, it's because a friendly game. You can't do that in June.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now we will see.
You can take a chance
Yeah,
now.
it's up to Lyle. Do it. And if it's okay, we have another good player with us.
And he seems to have settled in Belgium. You know, like the coach said, he's moved around to Portugal, Guimarães. He was at AS Monaco. A lot was expected of him, but he just never got going, and you never could figure out why. But he's playing regularly now at Westerlo in Belgium, and he's got a couple of goals also, so maybe that's also good for his confidence. So it's good to see him back, like the coach was talking about continuity there. And how do you feel about Bongokuhle Hlongwane's move to the United States, Coach?
I think it's a very good move. Again, it's sorry, but it's a better league than the PSL here. It's a higher level. There are many European players, very good players who are playing in America.
MLS.
So the level is higher. So it's up to him to prove himself. He's a young one, 22, I think, is Bongokuhle. So
21.
it's the right moment to go. But now it's up to him. But he will improve if he can have a standard position in the team. We will have a better player in a few months, sure.
And Coach, with that being said, I look at your forwards. You've got a Belgian-based player, you've got a USA-based player, and 2 Egyptian-based players. What does that say about the quality of the strikers in our league?
You know, we don't have scorers, really good scorers here in the league. Okay, we have Victor. Shalilule is a foreigner.
Namibian, yeah.
Again, you have the priest from Stellenbosch.
Yeah.
Okay, but the really good strikers we don't have, and I'm very happy to see him playing in Supersport, Kabuza. But this was a good striker 5 years ago. We don't have them anymore here. So we have to look. Magopa can be one, but I think there's a lot of work to do with him. But I can do it. It's the club who has to do it. So now I think Fagri, I was very pleased when with his performances in Cape Town. So he has a little bit difficulties now. In Egypt, he don't play. So that means that he's playing in a better competition. Certainly, and also to adapt to the new team and so on. But I think he will become better also, and I want to see him now really as a striker, because we didn't have the opportunity to do it. He came in against Ghana, but this was very difficult. But now he has qualities to help us, so we will see.
The oldest player in the striking department is Pesitaw at the age of 27. The youngest one is Foster, who's 21. Taw's return is 13 appearances for his team Al-Ahly, 5 goals, 2 assists that he has contributed in 7 goals. But Taw has to lead the team now, coach. I feel that during the qualifiers, we did not see the Lion of Judah. We did not see the Pesitaw that takes on 2-3 players and puts the ball in the back of the net. We did not see that Pesitaw. Fakhri Lakay is aggressive. I like his attitude. He chases balls down. But
holy crap!
You must please look after this evidence, Mahopa, coach. A young boy from Limpopo, unfortunately, is playing at a team which is not doing so well. One of those that are also coming from the Olympics, coach, scored a goal at the Olympics, I think a great goal. And when you look at his return for Bafana, already has scored 3 goals. So that is the striking department, coach. But one thing that South Africans will kill me if I don't ask you. Mahopa has got 2 goals, Hlongwane has got 2 goals, Fakhri Lakay has got 7, but you left out a man with 11 goals, and in Victor Litswalo. The only man who is South African who is trying to chase down Peter Shalulile, he's not in your squad, coach.
No, again, we are playing friendly games, and again, I will try some things. So I know what Victor can, I know his qualities, and he's not playing for the moment in his team. So that means that he's not really on his best shape, I think. And I saw the games, the last games with him. It's not Victor Letswalo, the one before Christmas. He don't have the same quality for the moment. And it's okay, this is normal. You can't play the whole season on the very highest level, you're always a little down. And I think for the moment, Victor is a little bit down. So, and it's an opportunity not to take him now. And to give chances on others, and that I have the opportunity to see them. So it's not, okay, I leave you out now, but those 2 things first, he's not in his best shape for the moment. And the fact that we are playing friendly games, so that I want to try some other players to see how good they are. So you don't have to be sad for that. I know him, and I think he will be back in June again.
And on that note, coach, how do you feel about where Pesitaw's game is at the moment?
Yeah, Percy has a little problem, I think, for the moment. It's not Percy Tau what we are used to see. I know him very well from Belgium. Before Christmas he had a few injuries, so he didn't play for weeks. So I thought it is that, because you don't have the tempo of the games. But now I saw him playing last time Saturday. It's not Percy Tau.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's happening with him, but I will talk to him. I have to know it, because he can help us a lot with his talent. He can help us a lot, but we need the best Percy Tau. So we will see.
You speak often about competition and high level of competition. And perhaps once again, like you've said, when Percy Tau was here, he was the best of the lot. He was doing exceptionally well. The competition at Al-Ahly in terms of for positions for starting 11 is a lot tougher.
But you know, that's a problem, huh? And therefore I said it already many times, this level of this competition has to go up. And it's also good for the players who are going to play abroad. Now the difference is so big for those guys, and they need some time to adapt. Percy was not playing in England, and I could understand, because this is not the type of player for England.
Yeah.
But now in Egypt, he has to be a standard player in that team. My opinion. But he has problems also. So again, when you see the teams on the west coast of Africa, all those guys are playing in Europe, and therefore they are so good. When you take the teams north of Africa, Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, many players are playing in Europe or abroad. They are playing. We can't say that.
In the best teams, in the best leagues in the world.
Yeah, also that. So every week they have to go. And when they come in the national team, okay, they are used to, and therefore Cameroon, Senegal, Ghana, okay, name them all. They have good players, they are used to play on a higher level. So they are playing on a higher level in the national team also. And that's we are behind on them. We are behind on them. And we have to work on it. We have to work on it. Not me, but all South Africa football have to work on it.
If you just joined us, of course, we're joined by Coach Hugo Bruce here, SABC Sport, bringing you the very latest and best. I mean, where do you see this happening? The coach being kind enough to join us here. Let's take a look at that squad again for the last time before we show you the two games in the ATX time. Pomozo, take us through it.
When you're looking at the squad, I've analyzed all the departments. The youngest department of this squad is the strikers. It's 22 years, 8 months. But when you're looking at the squad as a whole, the average age is 25 years, 8 months. It means the future is bright. 25 years, 8 months. You look at players, there's players from everywhere. There's players from Golden Arrows, there's players from Stellenbosch, there's 20-year-olds that we're seeing in the Bafana team. We are excited about this Bafana team. And as the coach says, let's not forget, we can go there and lose the 2 games we are building for June.
I want to talk to the coach about that in just a bit, but Tabiso, take us through the 2 games we're going to be playing. You're telling us in detail, of course, of how tough our opposition is. The first one is Guinea.
Yes, Guinea, as we've mentioned. Actually, what could be interesting here is that Bafana could play against the 2 Pogbas, because Florentino Pogba plays for Guinea and he's a defender for Sochaux in France, and then Paul Pogba, if he makes the France team, he'll play for France. So that's interesting. But that game is in Belgium on the 25th, in Kortrijk, as the coach has said, and then they go to Lille for France 4 days later. So it's a nice trip for Bafana, not too far apart. So the traveling will also not be a challenge there. And Bafana is expected to leave on Monday, the 21st, for Europe.
And that is the first game, of course. All these games live on SABC 1. This one here at 10 o'clock, and SABC platforms as well. DTT, we're there. Channel 4. Telkom 1, we're there. And of course, Facebook. Corner. Coach, you're saying that in this game, France, they're the number 3 team in the world. They're the world champions. You don't mind losing their, what's an okay loss there? 2-0, 3-0, 4-1, 6-2. What is an okay loss here?
What is an okay loss? I think when we're speaking about losing a game, we're not thinking about a massacre. No. I don't want to lose with 4 or 5 goals difference. No, not at all. But okay. When we lose 3-0, but I can be happy with the performances of the team.
Yeah.
So what? So what? You're playing against the world champion. And we don't have that experience what those players have. They're playing in Italy, they're playing in England, they're playing in Spain. They're playing everywhere in the big leagues. So what do you expect from us? So just play a good game. This is all what I want, and to see the guys fighting on the field, and maybe to see guys from who I would say after the game, okay, this one is someone for us. He will help us a lot in the most important games, and they are in June.
Coach, thank you very much. We really do appreciate your time here on SABC Sport. Coach Hugo Bruce, you've got Pomozo Manenja and a man traveling with the Bafana Bafana team. He'll bring us all the goodies from Belgium and France. Tabiso Musia, all of us here. Thank you for joining us. Pella Pella. And it's all me. That was lovely, coach.